Hey guys, it's Brianna here. This is my first blog post in like a couple of days, and I know I preach following the 8 core commitments and blogging daily and creating content or multiple pieces of content daily, and I'll get more into that like later. I don't really want to talk about that right now. What I really want to talk to you guys about is the reason behind why I haven't been blogging for the past 2 days. I want to tell you a quick story about what happened to me over the past few days. It's kind of weird and almost celestial if you believe in that kind of thing. Uh, we talk about a lot the universe winking at you, and this has kind of been the past few days. The universe has just kind of been winking at me. So it's been interesting, and I want to get into that right now. So on Friday, we had just trained my dog to be out of his kennel. He used to have really bad separation anxiety, and we used to have to keep him kenneled because he would, chew shoes and, pee all over the place and just do that, like, oh my god, freak out dog thing. So he was kenneled. Or no, he wasn't kenneled Friday. Sorry, he wasn't kenneled Friday. And we came home from work. My mom and I came home from work, and we found the trash everywhere. Like, legitimately, like, everywhere. And we're picking it up, and, like, fucking pissed off, right? We're hungry. It's like 5:30. We come from work. We're starving. We just want food, and we gotta clean up the trash. So, we clean up the trash, but we keep on finding these little blue pieces of paper. These little blue pieces of paper that are, like, all over the place. And I couldn't figure out, neither of us could figure out what the blue pieces of paper were from. Like, did he rip up a notebook? We couldn't figure out if he, what he had got to. If it was, like, a paper bag, sometimes, like, shop paper bags have like coloring and stuff on them, but no, we couldn't figure it out. And then we got to my mom's room, and that's when we noticed that he had chewed up a book. And I felt really bad because it was my dog and it was my mom's book, and she had been actually searching for this book. My mom had been searching for this book now for like weeks and weeks and weeks, like pre-DC travels weeks ago, a long time. And I'm like, now that she found it, it was all ripped to shreds and she couldn't read it. So I was like, all right, Mom, I'm sorry. Want me to take you to Barnes & Noble? She's like, nah, it's fine, whatever. We just continued on with our weekend. I'd blogged over the weekend and really hadn't thought anything of, the book being destroyed. Took out the trash, everything was good, nothing major. I come home from work on Monday, and we noticed that the trash had been gone through again. And we're like, what the like, seriously, again? You know what I mean? Like, this is the second time, and he was fine all weekend, but then all of a sudden, on Monday afternoon, or Monday evening, rather, the trash was everywhere again. And we kept on finding little blue pieces of paper. And then, as it turns out, he got to the book again. But, you're gonna think this is crazy, and I don't know if you're gonna believe me, but we had actually taken the trash out with the book in it. And, I don't really know where the book came from, but it was the same book that he had ripped up from Friday. And this was Monday that he had ripped the book up again. So my mom and I just kind of looked at each other and we're like, okay, there has to be some kind of coincidence with this. It's that same book. Let's go to the bookstore and go get the book, because obviously, like, I feel like we need to read the book. And she had been searching for it for me to find it, for me to read it. And the book was actually entitled Notes from the Universe by Mike Dooley. And the whole real essence behind the book is thoughts become things, and like basically like finding, thinking positive thoughts, like, very, very law of attraction kind of thing. But, I believe in the law of attraction, like, that's like totally, but I believe in acting on the law of attraction. I don't believe that you like sit there and just like vibrate shit and, you get a Lamborghini. And like, that kind of goes back to my video about, instant success, or overnight success rather. Like, if you were thinking about something and then all of a sudden you got it, regardless of whether it was positive or negative, you wouldn't really have any grasp on reality, because you thought something and then all of a sudden you had it. So anyway, sorry, mid-rant there. We got talking about, stuff in the car, and, like, what's the reason that we found this, why we needed to go to the bookstore. We knew we needed to go to the bookstore, and we knew we needed to get this book. And so we got to the bookstore, and we were searching for this book all over the bookstore, in the business section, in like the law of attraction section, in the nonfiction section, in the like spirituality section, in the every section, up and down, forwards, backwards, and sideways. We were looking for this book. We couldn't find it. We asked the guy at the front counter, and he's like, oh yeah, we can order it and you can have it by, say, Saturday. Well, that's when we were planning to pick up the book, was on Saturday. So, like, all right, let's just keep poking around. Let's see if there's something here that we need, or that we're supposed to have. Like, we both felt drawn to the bookstore, like, once we got there. Like, there was something there that we were missing. So we're strolling along, and we found this book. The 50th Law by 50 Cent and Robert Greene. And my God. It's funny, the story behind this book. And I had been wanting to read this book now since I saw the Chicago footage from the Empower Network event, and Tracy Walker said that that everybody needed to read this book. And on the back, it says, fear nothing. I can't see if I tip that there we go. Sorry, dyslexia. Fear nothing. And that's something that I've been struggling with now for my entire life, really. I didn't realize what a fearful kind of person I was until I started reading this book, and like all of my actions were based upon fear, and whether or not I was going to fit in, and fear of being judged, and like all of this stuff. And he talks about how to overcome your fears and to be fearless, and everybody needs to read this book, whether you're going into the business profession or if you want to improve your life on any kind of level. You need to read this book. This book has changed my life already, and for the longest time I had been afraid to tell stories. I had been afraid to tell my stories, but ever since I got this book and I started reading this book, I've been talking, and more to people, more at work, even more than I was before. And I just, I get now what it feels like to have someone come to you and say, oh, Brianna, the story that you've told me has caused me to take action and do something. And, because I watched your video, or because you told me this, because I read your blog post, I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z. And I get what that feels like now. Like, nothing makes me happier than having somebody come to me and tell me that my work, that my videos, that my blog posts, that my stuff really had caused them to take action. The other day I was talking about, to a colleague at work about how I went to, Toys R Us and started, and I was at Toys R Us, and, I was talking about my childhood and stuff like that, and, how at this time of year my mom and I would always go to Toys R Us, and, because we didn't like the whole, like, hustle bustle. I don't like everybody in my space. I'm very much a hermit. And so when you go to Toys R Us, and like anytime like after Thanksgiving, it's just really, really crazy. And I wanted to go because it was a cool fall day, and like, so we got to like in the Barbie aisle and stuff like that. And I was telling this colleague at work, and she was so happy that I was still 5 on the inside. Like, you should have seen her face. I wish I could have taken a picture of her face and shown it to you all watching the video now, because seriously, it made her day. Just me telling my story. There are so few, especially in the place that I work, there are so few positive people there that to just tell something positive can drastically change someone's day. And the fact that I changed someone's day made my entire week. It made my week, and it's all because of this book. Because of this book, I wasn't scared to talk to people and be like, yeah, I still look at Barbies, and I still, secretly want to play with Barbies on the inside, and I'm 18. That doesn't bother me anymore. Like, that doesn't bother me at all. And I wish I could reach through the camera and give you a copy, because that's how much this book has changed my life. And I've gone on for way too long than I wanted to. So, rule of thumb. Buy this book. Read this book. If the universe is winking at you, follow it. Okay? Follow it. The universe is probably winking at you right now to click the link below, enter your email address in, and watch the video. All right, I gotta go. Bye.